his face became bright as the sun. Take yourself in mind to Mount Tabor and place yourself in the boots of these three apostles. As we would say now, wow. This was a foretaste of the resurrection, and indeed the language used actually in the Greek itself suggests something of that nature. These two, both of which, by the way, had a strange ending, Elijah going up on his chariot of fire and Moses being found no more, these speak to him of what? The Greek has the word his exodus, his going out, his Passover. Now, the reason obviously why this happened at that point was lest they be discouraged in the development of events. But there is more to this event than meets the eye. Where did it happen? It happened in a very high mountain apart. Distance and separation from noise and what is passing. Hence it is that this passage has been the predilection of monks and nuns ever since. Tabor. But I want to address the issue of this vision this morning. Tell no man the vision, what you saw. Vision. Over the centuries, privileged souls have been given communications in different forms, and not only adults. Very pure children too, sometimes, and more than one thinks, have access to divine communications. Actually, only this week I had a case. A child of about 4, apparently, and this is a very good family, this child, and actually she told me so quite clearly, that the Lord had told her that they were not to say the rosary just in the car. The Lord wanted them to say the rosary in the family. They have a part of the house dedicated just for prayer, and that's the Lord's. And also this geographic centering of prayer is a mini table that we actually make the effort to go from the banal and the profane and the workaday and give quality time apart on our table wherever it may be. We do the groundwork. Just as a courting couple gives quality time, we call it dating. That is, they calculate and they chisel out corners of the calendar just for them to be alone and to communicate. If that's not there, there's no depth. What did they see? They saw obviously something which was ecstatic. Do you know that something similar happened to Saint Seraphim of Sarov, a great Russian monk and mystic? He had a friend, and this friend came to see him, to dialogue and pray with him. But they remained in prayer for a long time. Actually, they remained all night in prayer. And towards dawn, his friend, who was getting sleepy like the apostles, copped on that there was something strange going on. He looked at the saint, and he was beginning to shine. And he too, his friend, was caught up in this motion and vision. And Seraph asked him, "What do you feel?" And his reply was, "I feel an immense well-being." That's an echo, isn't it? It is well that we be here. An immense well-being. And the answer of the saint was this, because he had gone on, "I feel an immense peace." Seraphim said, "This is the peace of which the Lord spoke. The world cannot give it. And peace is the bottom line of our joy. If we are not in grace and light, we can only have a replacement of peace and ecstasy. It does not have to be hugely bubbly, but it has to be peaceful. Now, I just want to take you this morning for a few minutes to somewhere which on this day I sometimes think of. Hardly ordained, the bishop asked me through the prayer to take on Sejano. It was the mountain next to us. And on this day, the second Sunday of Lent, I was driving in the car down the valley and up to that mountain. And at a certain point, when one comes over the other mountain, one sees what? Something very similar to Mount Tabor. This old medieval village is perched on the top of a high mountain overlooking everything. And it hit me as I looked up on the belfries of the churches up the top there. There is beauty on earth here. So I just preached to them on this morning. Do you know what you have? You have healing on this mountain. You have peace. Why mess it up? And so many people clutter up the natural beauty which is there with their own messy form of beauty. Noise. Noise and more noise. And they prefer the beauty of the goggle box to what is around them, with no peace inside or outside. But I just want to reflect on one thing. It's this. That time in Sejano taught me one or two things. It's this. Souls everywhere are the same. When it comes to salvation and bringing people to beatific vision, issues and things of that nature somehow find a second place. One uses the structure that one finds, for that is the providential structure of salvation for those souls. Once a mandate is given, once the bishop has said and the prior has given the immediate command, grace follows, and that's where it will pass. So wait for it. Inspirations will come to you, and things happen just where you are. Do you see what I am saying? The church is a huge providential structure, physical and historic. Churches are the places of encounter between heaven and earth, the tabors of our time until eternity. That's where grace will come. Now, when it comes to the act of saving souls, remember that. Don't get bogged down with the means, the ways of doing it. It's the essence that counts. God is doing all he can with these poor souls that he's made for glory to get through to them, there where they are, in their poverty and misery and, yes, glory. That is what salvation is about for us. Leave the problems of philosophy and even to a certain extent theology and liturgy to the experts. Handle the issue, the crunch. This soul before me is in danger of hell. I have to save that soul while he's before me. I just finished, my friends. As a result of being there, I had to handle many, many deaths. Sending souls where? And we would put them in drawers. Few were put in the earth, most of them were put in the wall. And you would see one next to the other, and you would wonder, that one a priest, this one never went to confession. Where are they now? 1 second after closing their eyes. Do you see what I'm saying, my friends? All the rest can to some extent remain on a back burner. Get to the essential, for when we're still on earth and we have one fraction of time, we have a hope of getting there. Once a soul has gone, without prayer, without grace, it's lost. And the word lost in Latin is damnatus.